we like to use overhooks and underhooks differently in different situations here. Remember our hierarchy: concealment, retention, posture, position, escape, submission. Same I've already mentioned, he's probably going to hurt me with his arms and hands, so I want to make sure I'm monitoring them while I control him, maximize my leverage, but mostly I want to keep myself safe. I want to keep myself safe first. So we have a couple of options to get to really dominant positions here. I can establish an underhook and a bicep tie just like I do out in the open space, and it's a great position, don't get me wrong. But there's some downsides against the wall especially. There's some things that you can pull off that are slick with the underhook too. But easy for him to bring this arm up, for him to start getting high on me, getting head control on me, putting pressure on me, and now he starts taking me to the ground. And now not only am I against the wall, but I'm on the ground against the wall with a force multiplier on, with a big, strong, gnarly dude on top of me. And I don't want that to happen. So I try to mitigate those negative probabilities. And most people who are undertrained will do, or not trained at all, they'll do that. They'll go for the head. And trained people will do that too. We see this happen in MMA a lot. Okay, so yes, there's a duck under there. That's one of the things that we like. We want to take a look at what the pros and cons are. We're not going to tell you don't do the underhook. As long as you know what the pros and cons are and what options you have. If I have this and he goes for my head and I maintain a good position, I can still duck under, and now I can take his back and work to a dominant position. Yes, that can definitely happen, but it can be tricky to pull off. It can be tricky to pull off against the wall because there's so much pressure on you. Now you get caught. Now you're stuck there. Okay. One option, just so you know, if he does get you in a guillotine from there, say he goes through your head, right, and then you come down, he puts you in a guillotine. One option that you could have would be you could trap here because you're justified. He's obstructing your airway. You could go for your weapon. So keep that in mind. If he goes to obstruct your airway, chances are good that you are reasonably in immediate fear of death or great bodily harm. So that's why we have this on. That's also why I like to trap both arms, so he can't get his hands on my weapon. So keep that in mind. Another reason why we prefer the overhook actually against the wall versus the underhook is it's easier for him to step back and strike me with this arm. Even if I'm doing good here, like watch, because I want to cap down, I grab the top of his shoulder and I pull down. If I pull down, that makes it harder for him to do that, but he could still do it. Notice how I'm also monitoring here with the bicep tie. So if he tries to hit me with the bicep tie or do whatever, I can monitor this arm in this hand. If he tries to hit me with it, tries to reach for a weapon or whatever, I can have control and monitor here. So this is the posture that we're in with the underhook and the bicep tie. I have headbutts here and stuff, and it's a good position, don't get me wrong. I'm just sharing with you what our preference is against the wall. Our preference against the wall is the overhook. Okay, so now when I'm hit my position with my overhook, I'm clamping first. Bringing my fist in here, I'm bringing my fist into his body, and I'm going to sag and lower my level, and that puts a lot of pressure on his shoulder. I like to bring my elbow in, and that puts kind of like a V-lock on him or an Americana on him. Okay, so this is now he doesn't like that very much. He's going to start to compromise, or he's going to start to compromise his posture. So now he can't work his way to my head. See, if he tries to take this arm up to work his way to head, he can't do it. Okay, so now I'm in a really good position for lots of escapes, lots of reversals. Here's what will most commonly happen. When you're in this position and you're sagging down, lowering your level, monitoring, you're bringing your elbow to your body and starts to put that Americana pressure on his shoulder, he'll bring this arm through. Oh look, you've got an arm drag for an escape, which we've already done. See how the pieces fit together here. This is a system. If you're watching these courses, it's a system where all these pieces fit together interchangeably with a series of principles that are a high probability for success in self-defense. So what we like to do, it's always up to our students, but what we like to do is I scream it in my head. Get the overhook, get the overhook, get the overhook, get the overhook. When I'm against the wall, it's the first thing I'm thinking about is getting that overhook. Now, depending on what the entrance is, so you know. He might be throwing punches at me. It might not just be a clinch fight against the wall. He might be throwing strikes, which is super common. So if he throws a strike against me, I'm high covering to create some space. Now it's the same. I'm swimming for the overhook. Here, into the same position that I was in, or I can pummel for the underhook. Here, boom, underhook. Same. So overhooks and underhooks against the wall. And then we'll take a look at what other options and variables and reversals and escapes and things do we have from our overhook and underhook bicep tie position up against the wall. Go drill it.